Are you buying and selling cryptos on the same laptop that you're using to browse the internet, read your email, and visit social media sites? If so, you're exposing your cryptos to theft. Whenever you're online, you're at risk of getting hacked and having your identity stolen. How would you feel if someone stole all of your cryptos? What would that do to your finances? Guard your cryptos with a safe and secure laptop from CALIX Solutions. Each laptop is set up just for you and your cryptos, and then we walk you through exactly how it works. Don't risk the security of your cryptos. Order a crypto laptop from CALIX Solutions now to secure your crypto future. Learn more at calixsolutions.io.
Good morning and welcome to the Bitcoin Ben show. Bitcoin Ben is trekking across the country somewhere at a secret location. So I'm Dr. J. I'll be filling in for him today. And what a day it has been already. I've been up since 3:30 a.m. looking at the candles, the God candles. I kind of felt it coming. But before I go any further, I have with me my dear friend and colleague and in-house resident expert on cryptocurrencies, Sherpa.
Thank you, Jay, for that intro. I always hate when I get called an expert. Like, I don't feel like an expert because there's so much knowledge in the crypto space. You can't know it all, but I am well knowledgeable in the space.
As long as you know more than the others, you are an expert. So, look, folks, Bitcoin is no longer knocking on the door of the old world. The Pope is dead. It's buying the building. It's installing new locks and redoing all the leases. All right. So Bitcoin is here. It is an asset that is starting to break away from the market completely at this point. And we have been watching the movement, the price movements with a great deal of interest since the morning. We wanted to see if it would breach the 90,000 mark right before we started this show, and it did. Mm-hmm. And, at about 5 a.m. in the morning, we were looking at some very, very, big movements here. These are big movements. We're going to talk a lot about, why is it moving? What are the underlying factors that are moving the price? We're just going to have a thoughtful conversation about that. Who is moving it? What are the factors that indicate the strength of this Bitcoin bullish market that is starting to emerge? And at the same time, what are we noticing? We're noticing, dollar is at the lowest it has been in 3 years at this point. Gold's gone up to 3,500, and yet we know the Bitcoin has risen over 18,000% from 2015 to 2024 against gold. And frankly, I think 7 billion people are waking up to that sound of cha-ching in their wallets. So this is literally, folks, the starting point. So just settle in, take a deep breath. Let's just look at, what's happening to the price movements, and then let's figure out where do we go from here. So Sherpa, give a little overview of what the price movements have been in the last couple of hours, frankly, as it's developing. We had a ceiling at about 90,000. We had a floor at about 86,000. And we're starting to see it's starting to break through that ceiling. And what does that mean? Good. Do you have
I got a chart for us
on that? And let's have a look at it.
Right here. This is the day chart, as you can see right here now. Let me make that bigger for us. And yeah, look at that line. This is the last 24 hours. Like that candle right there. Oh my gosh. It's almost like 3 of them we see right there happening within it. But yeah, we've been sitting at like 85,000 for like this past month, like entirely. So this has been consolidating there, holding that support level, like right here at 84. And that's kind of was a good sign too, because usually when the price is super volatile, like going up and down, like it's not really building enough, like just like energy to really momented up. And like, since it's been consolidating right there, like we've been waiting for this moment just to see that skyrocket, and we're kind of seeing it right now. So this is probably the start of the whole thing.
So what are we at right now? Let's say 90,000 to almost 90,300, right? The 90,000 mark was definitely a point which we needed to see, but let's, while we're looking at the technical charts, the first thing that we typically look at is volume, right? Volume precedes price, as they say. And we've been looking at the second level open orders. And what we're finding is that at least about an hour ago when I was looking at it, there were 4,000 Bitcoin buy orders, and there were less than about 1,400 sell orders on the books. Okay.
And now we can see our buy sell wall with those orders.
Okay. So the buy sells are starting to, you can see that steep line, that steep straight up line. And it's always that balance of greed and profit taking versus fear of selling too early, right? So what we were seeing is, look at that. What we were seeing is a 3-to-1 imbalance, basically, between the people who are looking to buy versus the people who are looking to sell. So this is a really interesting. I mean, this is a instant chart that you're looking at moment by moment, but really, it's still, the ratio is sitting at 1 to 2.8, which is really, for 2.8 units of Bitcoin are looking to be purchased, only 1 is available.
Yeah.
And this goes back to those very basic fundamentals, right? We have $40 billion worth of open orders right now. And it goes back to the fundamental of scarcity. There are only so many coins. And as, this morning, ARK, the crazy woman from ARK, she bought about
Kathy Wood.
She bought about 1,400 coins.
She bought some more Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You always just hearing her say, "I'm buying Coinbase stocks."
Yeah.
now it's switch. Now
Coinbase. Funny you mentioned that, because there are many factors why I feel this is going to go well past the 90, is because there are factors that have not been factored in. So Coinbase quietly applied for a banking license. And that is a big deal. So now that is starting to become very mainstream. So this has not been factored into the price right now. So we're just going to, first, we're just looking at the technical, we're looking at the trading volume, we're looking at the open orders, we're looking at the opening price, what the candle's looking like. And of course, there's some short sellers who are going to get squeezed out of this, and they're going to have to cover, their positions. And of course, from a technical perspective, there you go. Yeah, on the exchanges. Let's see that again for just a second, Sherpa.
Yeah, I had it hidden in the background so no one saw it, but here's that chart.
Yeah, just walk us through this one, Sherpa.
So this is showing us like the liquidity and the trading volume on each exchange out there right now. So the big chunk is coming from Coinbase. Like, we have the list of the color. Bitfinex is blue, Bitstamp's orange, BTC Markets is green, but Coinbase is the big one controlling a lot of the trading volumes. That just shows us a lot of people are transacting on there, but I'm worried about that, because like when you see just them all use one exchange, it's like we just hope another FTX doesn't happen, like especially with Coinbase, because if most of the trading volume is there, then a lot of people will get burned.
This is a great point that you're raising, Sherpa, because we think of Bitcoin as very much a decentralized platform, right? A decentralized node of networks. We've been told this stuff. And yet, not that many years back, one of the big mining companies, Chinese mining companies, was controlling 35% of the hash rates.
Yep.
And when that crashed, when that coal mine got flooded and they didn't have, suddenly the hash rates went to nothing, right? That's centralized, right? So now I'm happy to see that we have a lot more diversity in the mining. Our 850, 900 exahash shield is holding, but you can't take these things for granted, because don't just you have to keep a eye on what's happening, and you got to participate in making sure that Bitcoin continues to be that force field, that shield that protects your assets behind it, and no one can break through it. And that's going to, a lot of things. But anyway, coming back to just the technical analysis, many of you are probably wondering, why is Bitcoin taking off? What we are seeing is clearly huge buy pressure right now. There are big companies. BlackRock, Fidelity just bought 4,300 coins. Strategy bought a couple of days ago another 6,500 coins. So you're seeing big players, exerting pressure, the shorts getting squeezed out, and the imbalance between the buy and the sell orders, and the price will continue to go up. This is how the market works, right? When there's 4,000 people or 4,000 coins that are, they have buy orders, and there are only 1,400 coins that have the sell orders. You have this imbalance. So what's going to happen? The price is going to keep on ticking up until that greed takes over the fear, right? And people will start to sell. People will start to take profit, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But technical analysis that we just saw is not the only indicator. I want you to think about even the sentiment. So there was a Michigan study and a Northwestern study done, which actually correlated the number of tweets, the number of Google searches, and how it correlates to the price. So there is a tremendous interest going on right now. We are, if you look at the number of tweets on Bitcoin, if you look at the number of Google searches on Bitcoin price, those are spiking. And those also tend to be
it's an indicator,
leading indicators as opposed to lagging indicators.
Because
of
when no one's really tweeting that or looking up like BTC's price or BTC, like that kind of correlates with the price. Like the price isn't doing too hot, it's down. But during times when like BTC's like searches, it's like off the charts. It's just telling you people want it. They're looking into it again. They're seeing like, I'm FOMOing in. It's like maybe I should get this because now they're paying attention to what's going on around the world. Because the narrative has changed drastically within the last year.
Definitely. And these are, again, we're trying to rationally explain these large God candles, as they call them. I mean, these are $3,000, $5,000, potentially $10,000 candles that can show up within the day. So we're starting to see not just technical movements. There are some basic, fundamental movements because of a large number of big buyers. There's also macroeconomic and geopolitical facets to why Bitcoin is moving right now. So you see, is there a direct correlation between the Pope dying and Bitcoin going up? Perhaps no. However, there is a sentiment that the old world order is crumbling. There's a sentiment that President Trump is, look at what he's doing. He's playing a very strategic game, and many of you guys who are our, everyday listeners, you've kept up with it. Look, President Trump is not crashing the market. He's doing something very smart. He is making sure that the equities gets destabilized so that more money can flow into what? It's going to flow into safer assets like treasuries. And where more money flows into treasuries, what happens? The yields go down. We can actually now refinance our debt at a cheaper price because more money has come into treasury. It also decreases, weakens, as they call it, weakens the dollar. We are at the weakest dollar in 3 years. Why is that a good thing? Well, it's a good thing because our exports go through the roof, right? So people who start to really understand and remove the layers, and why is that good? Well, look at it. Trump is not making these tariffs what they are to start trade wars with China and everybody else. That's the narrative that you're being given by the, completely captured press, the fake news press, as he calls it. The tariffs are a way of doing two things. Number one, negotiating good deals with other countries. And number two, bringing back American industry and businesses back into America. Because remember, folks, China can't win this war because of a very simple factor. And you may say, hey, it's not that simple, but it is. You see, American consumers consume more Chinese products and goods than Chinese people consume American products and goods. We have the consumer base that China lives on. And while you will not see it in the news, Chinese banks are collapsing. Chinese supply chains are collapsing. They are in a pretty bad place of hurt right now.
Yep.
And this is all going to start to become very apparent very quickly. The walls are crumbling there. Okay. So it ain't paradise in China, and they haven't won any trade wars.
They're really trying not to show that too, because I've been noticing a lot of like just on the social media, Instagram shorts out there, like they take a high influencer, this guy called Speed, but like he's in China right now and he's just showcasing it, going like, look at this. They're not saying what it is, but he's making it look like it's so beautiful. It's awesome. It's what we need. So they're kind of trying to feel like change that narrative right now with that, even though we know what's going on in the background.
Absolutely. And this information warfare impacts pricing of commodities. It impacts pricing of, equities as well as assets like Bitcoin. So there are a number of different factors going on. And lastly, before, we cover some more aspects of this price movement, there are certain things that are happening on chain right now, which are also giving us some more strength, some more, footing. The number of active accounts on chain has increased substantially. The hash rate is holding and growing stronger. The number of transactions, you had that little transaction thing, that cute little chart. I really found it actually quite interesting.
Which one?
The one which had all the little transactions coming in, like little paintballs.
Was that one the buy sell wall order one?
Let's just have a look. Hold on, folks.
Let's see.
That's a really cute little chart if you can find it.
We got the Bitcoin trading volume. We got the public companies that hold Bitcoin.
Yeah, actually hold that.
Governments and countries that hold Bitcoin, because I didn't want to go back to this about scarcity of what price movement's actually really going. Like we've been hearing news all the time. MicroStrategy is buying Bitcoin. Meta plans buying more Bitcoin. This government over here El Salvador is acquiring 1 Bitcoin a day. Like it's just been acquiring, and Bitcoin is scarce. It's like I had a video just saying, when will it click? There's only 21 million Bitcoin out there. About 19.1 or 2 million Bitcoins already in circulation right now. And then we can assume that like 4 or 6 million Bitcoins just gone and lost forever. People have forgot seed phrases, their hardware devices, wallets. Like this is gone. It's just on the blockchain in limbo now. No one's ever touched it. So in reality, there's like only 16 million, 15 million Bitcoin out there in the world. And we see this chart and like we see like, okay, so MicroStrategy owns 528,000. Marathon Digital holds 46,000. Like they're in the thousands. And we go to the governments and countries. Like the U.S. has 207,000 Bitcoin. China,
by the way, and that's just the ones that they have located. In fact, President Trump has formed a new group to actually go and do an audit of the entire government to find where all the digital assets are kept. So we might actually find that the U.S. government has a whole lot more digital assets than those 207,000 Bitcoin that you're seeing over there.
They were supposed to do an audit last Saturday or 2 Saturdays ago, but we never got word on that. So it's like, I wonder if they did it. Do they not do it? Because we want to know what does the U.S. actually truly hold? Because they never had an audit of their crypto holdings.
Let's not even get into that, because the Black Ops projects and Pentagon's $6 trillion missing all the way from the Donald Rumsfeld days. So, folks, there's a lot of unearthing to be done. But as Sherpa's saying, there's 15, 16 million Bitcoin. And what you're starting to see is there was over the last month or so, we have been feeling this. We've been feeling the pressure. We've been feeling that it goes up, shorts pull it down, it goes up, pull it down. And it's really coming to that level where it's going to get real hard to keep down a winner, to keep down this explosion from happening. So let's look at what we are seeing today. Let's just very calmly analyze the situation. We are seeing, number one, technical indicators, trading volumes, short squeezes, larger number of open orders, formation of that morning star, as they call it on the chart, the 20 and the 50-day moving averages doing their dance right above the long-term moving average, indicating a bullish behavior. So we're seeing all of the technical indicators really solid. We are seeing fundamentals really solid, as in big institutions purchasing, scarcity coming into play, more buy orders than sell orders. It's going to push the price further up, because at some point, hey, I'm going to sell because it's worth my time, because I bought it at 80 and I'm selling it at
Yeah.
160. That's a freaking 2, 3, 4 bagger.
Yeah.
And we'll take that all day long, right? And then get back into it. So
we'll take it, but then the next question is, after you take that profit, it's like, what are you going to do?
Let's get into that in just a second.
Should we take an ad first after that or anything? We're coming up to that point.
We'll come to that in just a second. I've got an idea for our members. So we're seeing good technicals, we're seeing good fundamentals, we're seeing good volume, we are seeing good social media sentiment, and we're seeing really good on-chain data with nothing to do with the price. Just look at the on-chain data. How many transactions are happening? What's the hash rate doing? How many new accounts are being opened? How many old accounts that were sitting dormant are suddenly starting to show movements and transactions? Those are all indicators of, folks, this thing is starting to cook. This thing is starting to to bake here. Okay, so you're all in a very exciting. I mean, let's just look at what a wonderful morning, Sherpa, to actually bring good news to our members, right? I mean, I love days like this. Ben is missing out. Ben, thanks for having me do this show today because I love it.
Yes, Ben, we love it.
Here's a call out for Ben. Let's take a quick break and do a little word from our sponsors. We'll be right back, and we're going to discuss what the strategy needs to be about as Bitcoin continues to rise. How do we play this game?
All right, here we go.
Welcome to the future of finance. Are you ready to unlock your crypto potential? At Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club, we're not just a community, we're a revolution. We're a thriving community with educators that can help you get started. With clubs nationwide, your membership opens doors across the country. We can offer you no KYC Bitcoin purchases through the club. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club, where friends become family and everyone's invited to the crypto revolution. Join us today and give us a call at 562-526-0813. Your crypto adventure awaits.
Okay, and we are back. So tell us, Sherpa, how does the buy-sell movement work when it's on exchanges versus when the little guy needs to get, active in the selling process?
It's like, how does it work? Well, like the exchange is just one of those like technical analysis sheets where like they really can keep the price of or like what they're selling it for, what they're buying it for, really control the pricing of what Bitcoin's value is at. But a lot of people out there, like we saw the charts of how the government's buying it, how are these big companies buying it? They're buying it over the counter, under the table, just peer-to-peer transactions. So that really doesn't affect the price right there. But it does show the trading volume, so that's a good sign. But like they're using, over the counters to just acquire as much as it because they want to keep the price as low as possible. But right now, like as we're seeing the price go up, there's like parts getting a little bit harder to like buy over the counter straight from the miners. So they got to go to the exchanges. And then once we see like the exchanges really like just don't even have any more liquidity to just release any more Bitcoin to it, that's when I feel we really will see that God candle that everyone's been predicting about. Because you can't get it anywhere at that point. You can't get through the miners. You can't get from the exchanges. So it just makes it that much scarcer, harder, and then more valuable to try to get.
Oh my gosh. Now look at this. So we're really, what Sherpa is kind of talking about is 3 waves of God candles and growth that you're going to see. You're seeing this first wave caused due to the pressures of buying, instability in the traditional financial markets, a flight to safety into gold, into Bitcoin. You're starting to see large institutions taking hedged bets, making sure they have their strategic Bitcoin reserve. So that's just phase 1 of that growth cycle. You keep hearing it's gonna go to 180,000, 200,000, 300,000. Why are those folks saying that? Analyze it. So the first phase is just the obvious thing that you just see on the surface. Second phase, these exchange purchases, all of these purchases are happening on the exchange. At some point, the liquidity, the amount of coins the exchange itself has in its own treasury dries up. The demand passes past that. And at that point, the exchange has nothing left to sell you. They go to the miners. We talk a lot about Bitcoin miners. We're going to get into big Bitcoin mining business. We already have. We already have a number of members who have participated and bought up ant miners. And by the way, just as a fun aside, we placed a couple of $1 million placement just yesterday. I closed that deal at about 5 p.m. We won't mention names, but man, are you lucky, because as Bitcoin price goes up, the ant miner prices go rocketing through as well. So we got our purchase order in right before this pop, and so we got the old price at less than
86 or 85, one of those pricing.
Yeah, we got very good. I won't tell you the prices, but it's the miners are priced on a per terahash basis. The market was at $22 a terahash. We were able to squeeze out a really good deal, and we got the purchase order in right before 5 p.m. last night, and this morning this thing rips. I was so excited I couldn't sleep. I was up at 3:30 just looking at the charts, right? So this was exciting stuff. That's really exciting stuff. But so the second order is going to come when the depletion of the exchanges starts to happen, and the exchanges are now going out to miners. The miners can basically demand their price because they are actually minting or creating the new Bitcoin. So that is going to, and plus it's also virgin Bitcoin. So there's oftentimes a premium that people are willing to pay for that. So that mining area is going to really start to become important. You're going to see a lot more people entering into mining. Quite the opposite of what you have been told. Oh, the halving has happened. Instead of 6.25 Bitcoin, I get 3.125. No, folks, mining is going to become even more profitable because of the scarcity. You have to understand these fundamentals. So that's the moment the Coinbase, which is holding such a big part of the assets right now in the exchange, when that reserve starts to deplete,
and it is already pretty low. Like
it's already pretty low. Yeah. Watch that candle.
Like there's that.
Oh, let's have a look at that. Yeah,
so, Coinbase's volume only has like 289,000. So they do dominate with 73% of the shares, but as this goes down from every other exchange out there, there's only trading volume of like 54,000.
So they have 289,000 coins left?
I think so. Yeah.
Look at that. And when President Trump came and said, "Hey, I'm going to buy 1 million Bitcoin," where do you think that 1 million Bitcoin is going to come from, folks? I mean, that's all the Bitcoin you got on the exchanges. You don't have 1 million Bitcoin. You got 286. What's that second number? I can't even read it.
The second number was 54.2 thousand.
So if I added up the top 5 numbers, I'm looking at like 600,000 Bitcoin. I mean, that's a Michael Saylor.
Yep.
All right. So folks, 600,000 Bitcoin starts getting depleted. The miners' prices are going to go up. The mining stocks are going to go up for those that have gone public. Wink, wink, hint, hint. Do your own research. I'm not giving you any stock advice. That's all on you, buddy. But better still, we'll work with you if you have investments that you'd like to make into mining. We're really taking it right up the ground floor level. We're a Bitcoin club. We understand Bitcoin mining extremely well, and there's complexities, but we can get you into that, and you can be, your stocks are going up. Because what happens in Bitcoin mining is, let's say you have miners that you have purchased and you're hosted, and your cost of electricity is locked into what's called a power purchase agreement for the next 5 years. So your cost of electricity is common. Your mining horsepower is common. The difficulty goes up and down, but basically, if you're producing half a Bitcoin every month from your miners, you're fairly consistently producing that half a Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin's at $100,000, that half a Bitcoin every month is $50,000. But when Bitcoin goes to 200,000, that same half a Bitcoin is now $100,000 in free cash flow. And you can do the math from there. So mining is very, very interesting, and I think it's going to continue to evolve. But wait, that's not all. Something even more interesting happens once the exchange depletion occurs. At that point, all of these different peer-to-peer transactions that we have been doing directly on the Bitcoin network, the little guy, quote unquote, the big guys have depleted. The little guy suddenly is front and center. what is President Trump doing? He's creating a massive transfer of wealth from the rich guys, which is the equities market. Why? 90% of the equities market is held by the top 2 to 3% of the population of the people that hold it. The average guy doesn't participate in equities, right? Yep. So as equity starts to go down and this opportunity gets created where now suddenly everybody's chasing the little guys, kind of like before the elections, you know, everybody wants that last vote. All these politicians, they come out to the town halls and they're standing and they're shaking hands and kissing babies, right? But the rest of the 4 years, you never see them.
Yep.
They're in their limousines, staying in their Ritz-Carlton hotels, right? They don't care about the little guy. Well, folks, this is exactly the same situation. Very soon, a time will come when the little guy with a half a Bitcoin, people will be courting him and saying, please sell me your half a Bitcoin.
Let alone half a Bitcoin. Like back in the day, we were to tell people all you need is 0.01 Bitcoin, 1/100th of it. And then like, you're solid, you're set. So it doesn't even have to be half a Bitcoin. If you have 0.01, you're still good. Better
now listen
than the
to
average
that,
person.
folks. Guys, you know, Ben has evangelized this for years. We are members of the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club. We need to own Bitcoin. Every one of you. I don't care if you own 0.01, 0.1, 1, or 100 Bitcoin. And I've met all of those categories, by the way, just in the last 2 weeks. I've met one of each, right? And many of each. A few of the 100 Bitcoins. But let me tell you, folks, it's really important that you get up there, take the steps necessary. Fortune will not come to those who sit back and just watch the news, listen to Jay talking on the phone, listen to Sherpa and Ben talking on the TV and saying, hey, Bitcoin good, Bitcoin good. No, guys, you got to take some action. If you don't take any action, if you don't come and participate in our bulk Bitcoin purchase, every week we are buying Bitcoin for our members. If you're not participating in that, you are doing a disservice to yourself and you're doing a disservice to your legacy and your family.
Because
right?
this is generation wealth that's going to go beyond you, beyond your grandkids, beyond your great-great-great-grandkids. Like this is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity you won't get again.
Don't even ask me, is it okay to buy at 90,000? Don't even ask me that. Listen, guys, this is the beginning of that breakout that's going to start to happen. It is going to happen because of the factors we told you about. Now, can completely random acts happen in the universe and the world that can change the trajectory? Absolutely. Like anything else, there's no guarantees in life. But there is one thing very clear. If you apply your rational mind, if you look at the tea leaves, if you look at the indicators, social indicators, technical indicators, fundamental indicators, on-chain indicators, all of these things are pointing to the same direction that Bitcoin is moving upwards. How much, how soon? Again, that goes in the world of speculation. And we can speculate that, and many of you sophisticated guys will play the odds.
We can show Michael Saylor's speculation on where the markets can go in 21 years, because I got those two photos, like where we're at now, like what's in gold, housing, real estate, and all that stuff.
Yeah, let's have a look at that. It's really interesting to see this, right? There's a total of $900 trillion worth of wealth in this world.
So, yeah,
okay.
Here's the global wealth distributed.
So let's look at it. There's about $40 trillion worth of gold. There's real estate, 330. Bonds are $300 trillion. There's currency equities, 157, or whatever that number is.
Yeah, 120 trillion in money, 115 trillion in equities, 300 trillion in bonds, 330 trillion in real estate. Like this is where we're at.
Okay,
now,
so we're at 900 trillion, right?
Yeah, 900 trillion total.
So basically, the world's total money is $900 trillion. Let's say half of it is just stored value, and about $450 trillion is what changes hands. And what we are saying, folks, Bitcoin is at roughly $2 trillion right now.
Mm-hmm. And with all these assets diverge, start just moving, because not one's going to go away. Now, like, this is what it would be like in 21 years with plus $200 trillion added to the markets. We're at 4,000 trillion.
No, hold on just a second. Even just keep that chart. Keep that chart. Here's what I want you to really understand from this chart. We're at $2 trillion. Fact. No asset in the history of humankind has ever fallen back to zero after going to 2 trillion. There are companies at 200 billion, even, like Lehman Brothers, like Enron, that have fallen down from 100 million, from 200 million, from a billion, from 20 billion, even companies have fallen down. There is not a single time in the entire history of humankind that something reached $2 trillion in value and went down to zero. It hasn't happened. Doesn't mean it can never happen. You never say never, but it hasn't happened. I want you to hold that thought. Now understand something. What's price? Price is basically the market cap divided by the number of shares, right? If I have 2 trillion and I have 20 million Bitcoin, it's 2 trillion divided by 20 million, which is 100,000. That's your price, right? It's as simple as that. Now go back to that chart. I want to keep that up. It's really important. The 20 trillion one, the 200 trillion one. Okay, just hold it right there. Now, on the previous chart, you saw gold was roughly, 40.
It was like 24 trillion. So
gold was how much?
16 trillion.
16 trillion. Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. Go back to the other one. Yeah. I'm not even going to say it has to be 200 trillion. Let's just do the math. Let's just do the math at 20 trillion. So Bitcoin goes up as a stored value because Trump buys 1 million of those and all of these companies buy and all of the price movement that we just talked about starts to happen. It goes to 20 trillion. What does that mean? Remember, every time it goes up, the number of coin, the denominator doesn't change. So when it goes up to 4 trillion and you still have 20 million Bitcoin, your price is 200,000 per coin. When it goes to 10 trillion market cap, same 20 million coins, your Bitcoin price is 500,000. Let's not even go to 200 trillion. Let's just go to 20 trillion. And why do I believe 20 trillion is a very doable thing? Because frankly, I don't even know how much gold there is in Fort Knox.
Oh, yeah, we do not know.
But I do know one thing. If that gold in Fort Knox is, or a part of it is revalued, and a part of it is sold off to buy Bitcoin, which is actually not creating new taxes on anybody, right? 20 trillion is a very approachable target. 20 trillion divided by 20 million is $1 million. So it is not beyond the realm of possibility at all. I mean, you're looking at equities at $160 trillion. You're looking at all these different asset classes, bonds at $340 trillion, real estate, what is that? $1,300 trillion, right? Very, very big numbers. So the idea that Bitcoin will go from 2 trillion to 10 trillion or 20 trillion is a very rational assumption to make.
And what I like about this chart too, or showcasing it, is that it's not showing that Bitcoin's just dominating everything, but it's going to be a part of the system. It's going to be evolved. Like, so it's not going to be taken away, or it's not going to be getting rid of gold. Gold's still there. It's not getting rid of art. It's not getting rid of equities, but it's going to be a part of the system right there. And that's what I like. So it's not going away. It's not taking away from anything else. It's just becoming the new.
Yeah, and this is a new asset class, which is why Cynthia Lummis is talking. She, as you know, is one of the senators who has been proposing the Bitcoin reserve for our country, and I think, frankly, it's brilliant because she's saying, look, buy all the Bitcoin you possibly can with we the people's money, and hodl it. She's saying, don't sell a damn thing. Keep it for 20 years. And your national debt will get wiped out. That's basically what she's saying.
Pretty much.
Because she sees that chart and says, gosh, if I could buy at a 2 trillion market cap and that goes up to 20 trillion, which is very, very rational, then the $100,000 became $1 million, which means if I put in let's say for a government, putting in 5 billion or 10 billion or 20 billion or even $1 trillion is not a difficult thing to do. Okay. We've been printing money anyways, right? So we might as well sell some of this gold. And so our total debt, this 36 trillion. Now, Dodgy will, of course, reduce that down significantly. We're still going to start to see, probably the revaluing of gold will reduce a bit. Of course, the economy will expand. So those will bring it down to right in that $25 trillion range. But that's an achievable target then. At least half of that debt can go away, and your debt leverage ratios are beautiful at that point. And now what has happened? When you get that debt leverage ratio down, your dollar becomes strong. So all these people who are running around going, hey, dollar's weakening, no, Trump is actually making the dollar strong because he sees the long game in it. He's saying when we cut down that debt to a rational amount where it's not choking us, our dollar is going to become strong. Our dollar will become supreme. Bitcoin will actually help support the dollar. It will actually make the dollar stronger. And people don't see that. It's not Bitcoin versus dollar. Bitcoin is a wonderful asset. Anyway, let's see. What time do we have?
We have 40 minutes now. We've been going 40.
Oh, wow. We're talking. Let's take a quick break, and then let's come back for the closing because we have a really interesting thing to talk about: Bitcoin investors.
Exactly.
Ever wondered how safe your online activities really are? How secure is your digital footprint? In the vast realm of the internet, privacy and security are paramount. Without adequate protection, your personal data might be at risk. There are solutions to these issues, and today we're going to talk about two of them. Introducing Liberty laptops from CALIX Solutions. These cutting-edge devices are meticulously designed to bolster online privacy, providing you the liberty to surf the internet incognito. The World Wide Web can be a wild frontier, but with Liberty laptops, your online privacy is always protected. We also present you crypto laptops, designed with cryptocurrency users in mind. Equipped to support a myriad of wallets and exchanges, these laptops are tailored for seamless cryptocurrency transactions. They offer enhanced security protocols to keep your digital assets safe. Crypto laptops ensures a secure and smooth cryptocurrency experience. It's time to take control of your online privacy and security. Venture over to CALIX Solutions and explore our Liberty laptops and crypto laptops. Don't forget, our affiliate program lets you earn $50 per sale. Visit calixsolutions.io now or call 7028458276 for more information. Because your online safety is our priority.
All right, and we are just warming up right now. The jacket has come off.
Sleeves are going up.
Sleeves are going up.
Time to get serious.
Time to get serious. All right, guys. Now, Sherpa, we know that from talking to so many of our customers, we get to our clients, our members, we get to knowing them quite well. And we start to see certain trends, but I was looking up a study done by Northwest University, and they were trying to see not just what happens when Bitcoin goes up or down, but what are the type of investors and what are their propensities and characteristics who invest in crypto versus traditional. So there were four very interesting facts. Number one, the crypto investor's profile is very different from your traditional investor profile in four ways. Number one, crypto investors, when they make profits, and you will be making profits, right? So we're already going beyond that. We already know that the candles are going to go up. You guys are going to make money. That's a given. The question is, what do you do with that money, right?
Exactly.
So crypto investors tend to spend rather than save their money. That's the nature of the crypto investors. You are the wild frontier West guys, right? You invested back into something. You spend it on Lamborghinis. That's what you do.
Or mining car.
Exactly. Or on Corvettes. But buying houses, right? So the crypto investors spend rather than save. The traditional investors tend to take a more defensive position. And in economics, it's actually called marginal propensity to consume, MPC. It's a term which shows the marginal propensity to consume more. Crypto investors, Bitcoin investors tend to, when they make profits, they spend it with both hands. They go and invest it. They're looking to the future. Traditional investors, when they win a lottery, they're like, okay, how can I save it? And they play that depletion game. Not good or bad. I'm just saying that that's a characteristic. The marginal propensity to consume is much higher for a crypto investor. Number two, and this is a really interesting one. Most traditional investors, and think for yourself as well, as you've been told and brainwashed by the financial analysts, you have to rebalance your portfolio. So every quarter you go and look at your portfolio, your diversified basket of goods, and you rebalance it. What does rebalancing mean? Rebalancing means basically you sell off your winning horses and you put that money into your dogs. That's what they've been teaching you all this while. It's complete hogwash, right? So rather than rebalance your portfolio and sell the stocks that actually made you money and put it back into the things that don't make you money, that's what rebalancing is. It's the most absurd thing. So crypto investors don't do that. We double down on the winning horses. If this horse is winning, put more money on it, which is totally different from what traditional investors actually do with rebalancing. So that was an interesting fact. Number three, crypto investors are tech savvy. They're early adopters. They're not afraid of changes. They are the early adopters for the cell phones. They were the early adopters for credit cards. They were the early adopters for Apple wallets. So crypto investors tend to trust themselves with new technology with the hope that it is going to actually propel you through that S-curve, break you through to that next level of mass adoption, right? And finally, crypto investors and Bitcoin investors tend to value financial independence and a hedge against the government's money. Whereas the traditional investors, the moment they get money, they're like, oh, I got to create a retirement plan. I got to do wealth preservation, right? So that's again a very different approach. It's a mental state of the investor. One is wealth preservation. The other one is like, hey, I want financial independence. I don't want to have to go and work for the man again. I want to, live in Indonesia and Bali.
Just know I got money coming through consistently.
I got money coming through. My money's making money for me. I've made investments, and that's a different mindset. And we are in the crypto investor category. And last but not least, the difference is crypto investors tend to buy luxury goods and homes a lot more. We love that. We love that, right? Because, man, when Bitcoin rips, what happens? All the Lambos are gone. All the Lamborghinis are sold out, right? We love that. We love that about you guys. We love that about the way you think. You are thinking of the future. You're thinking of it with positivity. You're thinking because it's an exciting thing. And whereas the traditional investors don't. So there is a significant difference in the mindset of the crypto investor versus the traditional investor. So now let's assume that we get to that phase 3, Sherpa, where the exchange depletion has happened. The mines can only produce at so many exahashes because there's a lag, right? I mean, you don't, the difference between buying and selling Bitcoin, you can do it instantaneously. Mining, folks, it's different. You got to go out. You got to dig the earth. You got to put up a building. You got to get the cooler systems. You got to get the air conditioning systems. You got to get them the servers. They got to be made in China and Taiwan and Malaysia.
Just to maintain the miners.
So that's it. There's a lag, right? So just because you have demand right now, just like traditional mining, Tesla wants lithium. Okay. It takes 8 years to build a lithium mine. So get in line, folks. So there's a lag between that. And in between that time is scarcity. And that's moving things. So let's assume that movement happens. Let's assume our folks make a ton of money.
Yep. What should they do? Well, again,
other than buying the Lambo.
Yeah, other than buying the Lambo, because again, that's like
which is a depreciating asset.
It is, yeah. You don't want to like go into a depreciating asset. You don't want to go to a point where you're back to where you started and you don't have anything because you just sold it all off. You bought it on frivolous slings. Like, you want your money to work for you. So like, what would you do to that? Get some property in real estate.
I have an idea.
Go for it.
I have an idea, and we're going to develop this idea over the coming month or so. I had Nathan and I had a fantastic dinner last night with an amazing real estate lady who has been in the market for 25 years, understands it, and seen the ups and downs and everything in between. But here's the thing. Look, Ferrari, Lambos, they already accept Bitcoin when you go to purchase. So it's only a matter of time, folks, that you will be buying homes with Bitcoin. You will actually purchase homes with Bitcoin because that is going to be acceptable. Not only that, you'll get smart contracts and all that good tokenization stuff, but understand what's going to happen. As our Bitcoin investors, they make money, you're going to buy homes. And as you buy homes, you will be able to take loans against the equity in the homes. And you'll be able to plow it back into the system.
I don't know. Could you double dip with that? Like,
Absolutely.
Instead of buying the house with your Bitcoin, can you borrow against the Bitcoin
Absolutely.
to buy the house, and then you
Absolutely.
got the house to redo that again?
And this is called leverage. So we're going to put these programs together for you guys. And we are starting on that process because we can do things for our members that are innovative. Banks are not known to innovate. I recently met some senior vice presidents of a large bank. They manage the private wealth investment. And they are like, guys, we have individuals, wealthy people worth 40, 50, $100 million coming to us and saying, hey, I keep hearing about this Bitcoin stuff. What are you guys doing? And they just look at their shoes and say, oh, we don't know. We don't know because our bank doesn't allow us to talk about products that have not been corporate approved. Well, folks, we don't have that problem, do we, Sherpa?
No, we do not.
We do not. We are a private membership association. We're going to create innovative products for our members. We're going to have our members make money.
Yep.
We're going to continue on this. Most of the times we get these amazing ideas from our members. We have all sorts of people in our family, in our Bitcoin Ben family. And what we are starting to do, folks, is we're starting to leverage each other. You are a community. Our folks are calling. So many of you can't come into the club. But guess what? Our folks over here are reaching out to members. You might receive a phone call. Hey, how are you doing? Do you know about our new Bitcoin purchase program? Do you know about our loan program? Do you know about our Bitcoin mining program? Oh, by the way, if you want to feed your family with clean beef for a whole year, we have a very special Bitcoin plus beef program for that. And by the way, there are new programs that we're going to develop together with members about real estate and creating real value assets. By the way, we're also investing into El Salvador. We're buying resorts. All of these opportunities are available to you, the person who is not sitting in the private wealth management fund and not being told by Goldman Sachs that, well, you should rebalance your portfolio at the end of the quarter and sell off your winning stocks. And, so that's not happening, folks. So we're going to actually do innovative things. And when you have ideas, we want you to come. Let's talk. That conversation needs to happen because I think that as Bitcoin appreciates and continues to appreciate, there'll be some profit taking. It's a good thing. We're going to reinvest it into real world assets, into developing more clubs that generate money, into developing resorts that generate cash flow. Cash flow is king, folks. At the end of the day, I've run every business I've run in the past based on cash flow. Yeah, I can look at income statements and balance sheets and projections, and a little assumption can change all of it on the spreadsheet. Doesn't mean a thing. Cash flow is real. It's what comes into with which you can buy food and you can buy your toys and you can leave for your generational wealth. Of course, Bitcoin will continue to be that holding of wealth. But understand something. As homes start getting purchased on using Bitcoin, as cars start getting purchased on Bitcoin, as tokenization takes over and more assets get purchased. By the way, Ethereum is at a 5-year low in dominance. Bitcoin is at a 5-year high in dominance. So I keep hearing Ethereum can it's been designed to do smart contracts. I get it. But guess what, folks? The value of money is in the gold. And there will be lightning networks, there'll be side chains, there'll be all kinds of things within Bitcoin and RSK, Rootstock, and those guys are already creating DeFi products that are amazing. So yes, you'll be able to borrow against your Bitcoin and put a down payment on a house. You'll be able to buy a whole house with Bitcoin and take an 80% loan against the equity in the house. And we are putting those structures together, and then you can use that money to buy more Bitcoin and leverage yourself. So, the only thing you have to believe and convince yourself based on rational thought is that Bitcoin will go on that upward trajectory. Now, will there be volatility? Yes, there'll be ups and downs along the way. But folks, less than it was less than $20,000. Less than 4 years ago. Okay?
It's like less than 2 years ago.
Yeah. And it's just an amazing story that if you play the long game and if you believe in your own self, not in what Michael Saylor says, not in what Jay Bose says, not in anybody else says, take the time to educate yourself. Look at these factors. Look at the reality of the technology. Look at what Satoshi has created. Look at the scarcity aspects of it. Look at the market forces that are happening. And you will come to the conclusion that this is an asset that is here to stay. You're a very tiny portion of the 8 billion people out there. I don't even think 1 billion people have wallets, okay? If at all. That means 7 more billion people are just waking up from their slumber. They're waking up to the reality of a digital golden age of digital money, of value that cannot be destroyed, value that cannot go away in an earthquake or a flood or a storm, value that cannot be stolen by your government or by a tyrant. That is the power of Bitcoin. And that is why we are in such a unique and beautiful place. You are seeing history in the making. You are seeing transformations you'll be telling your grandchildren about. This is an exciting time, but it ain't going to happen if you sit there on your couch like Al Bundy and do nothing about it. So get up, take action, participate. Any program, come over, talk to us, call 941-413-6920. Text us. We will call you back. We'll tell you about a program.
Yep.
Participate. That's all I can ask you. Bitcoin is doing its thing. You do your thing. Sherpa, any last words on this?
Any last words? No, you said it perfectly. Just participate, get involved, start learning, watch another video, just go on the community, attend some conferences too. Like, you'll just love it. But just, start participating in it. Don't be left out.
This is an exciting day, folks. Keep your eye on those candles. But don't get overexcited about the price going up. Don't get too down when the price goes down. Stay neutral to it. It's like anything else. This is life, right?
Yeah. If the market looks bad, just take a step back, step on some grass, and get some fresh air. Come back. And
get that earth frequency at 7.8 hertz. Yeah. Take your shoes off, walk on the grass, smell the air, look at the flowers. Have a beautiful day. I love you guys. God bless you, and God bless America.
Tired of jumping through hoops to buy Bitcoin? Frustrated with endless paperwork and invasive identity checks? Introducing Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club's loan program. No KYC required. Say goodbye to the hassle and hello to freedom. Borrow up to $250,000 at as little as 7% interest. Join our community and take control of your financial future. Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, where privacy meets opportunity. Connect with like-minded individuals and grow together. Visit us today and unlock your $250,000 Bitcoin loan. Your journey to financial freedom starts here.